All right, guys, here we go. Last video for the week. If you, I don't know, I can't remember. We did a little bit with this maybe the week we came back, but there's some things that you need to know, so you might want to stop the video and write these down right now. So basically, what we need to know is that your slope. Don't forget your slope from before. Change in y's over the change of x's. We have a new, well, it's not new, but it's an older one. But I would just rely on this one from now on. Point slope form, which is y minus y1 equals m, or the slope times the quantity x minus x1. Some definitions for you from our geometry stuff. If it's parallel, the slope of line 1 is the same as the slope of line 2. And if it's perpendicular, the slope of line 2 is the perpendicular slope of line 2 is equal to -1 over the slope of line 1. So let's just kind of look at this right here just to kind of jump into that. And again, if you want to, I would just kind of stop the video and copy this down real quick if you need to. So if we look at line 1, and let's just assume that line 1 has a slope equal to -1/2. So if line 2 is parallel, that's drawn by two lines. Oops, those are horrible lines. Let's just go back here. Control Z, Control Z. If line 2 is parallel, I'll write it. It's better. If line 2 is parallel, then the slope of line 2 is the same as line 1. So line 1 slope is -1/2. That means this, if line 2 is parallel, the slope is -1/2. Now, I'm going to put this one in a different color here. Let's go to red. If we go over here and I want to know the perpendicular, that's the symbol for perpendicular, an upside down T, the perpendicular slope of perpendicular slope for line 2. Well, that is going to be 1 over the slope of line 1, which is going to be -1/2. Well, if we take that and we flip, the idea is when we're dividing by a fraction, we just flip the fraction over. And don't forget, it's the negative reciprocal, so there's a negative out there also. So we get the negative of this one flipped over, which is going to be -2/1. So its slope is 2. So a parallel slope of line 2 would be -1/2. But the perpendicular slope, which is drawn here, of line 2 is going to be the negative reciprocal. So we flip it over and multiply it by a negative. So we end up with a value of 2. So, excuse me, we're going to take that information and we're going to tie it into this piece here. So we have this idea here. Oops, darn it. Here we go. We have this idea of, we'll draw a couple up. We'll draw an axis right here, and then we're going to do one more there. We have this idea here of, let me change colors. Let's go to this light blue, make it a little bit bigger. Oops, wrong. Control Z. Let's go back. We gotta, oops. Yeah, go back to red. We gotta get out of that. There we go. And then, oops. Let's go back to the blue. Blue, come on now. There we go. We'll make this a little bit bigger so we can see it a little differently, and then we're gonna draw a line. So we're going to take this line 4/3. It's going to go through 8. So it's going to go through up here somewhere. Oops. I need to do that again. It's going to go through 8, and it's going to go up here like this. something like that. So that's this line right here. So we drew that one in blue here. Now what they want us to do is they want us to take a line that goes down here through -6 and -6. So it's down here somewhere. And they want it exactly parallel to this one here. So we have this point down here that we're going to call -6 and -6. Okay. So now I have an x1 and a y1. And I also know that it's parallel. So the slope of this blue line is 4/3. So that means the slope of the second line is also 4/3 because they're parallel. So I'm going to take my equation, y minus y1 equals slope times x minus x1. And at that point, I just substitute using the given information to the equation. So I have y minus, watch your negatives here, -6 equals the same slope because it's parallel over, not over, times x minus x1. Again, watch your negatives here because it's at -6. So then we clean this up and we say y plus 6 equals 4/3 x plus 6. And then we can clean this up even more. I'll do a couple of steps here. This would be equals 4/3 times x plus 6. And really what I can do is I can subtract this 6 from both sides and I get a -6 on the end. So that is one equivalent right there. And then if I keep going, if they want it in y-intercept form, I can distribute this 4/3, so I get 4/3 x plus 4 times 6 over 3 minus 6. So I just multiplied this 4/3 times this 6. So it's numerator times this 6, which is 4 times 6. 4 times 6 is 24. 24 divided by 3 is 8. So my next step looks like this. I'm going to write a little smaller if I can. 8 minus 6. So therefore, my final equation is 4/3 x plus 2. So that here is the equation to that line. So all we're doing is using parallel and perpendicular lines. It doesn't matter. Always draw your graph. Always label it. Make sure you know what you're looking for. So let's move on to another piece here. Let me slide the page up. That was 24. Let's look at 26. So let's go down here. Let me see if I get this to catch on again. Why are you not writing anymore? There we go. Come on. I'm messing things up here? Nope, I don't want to write that way. Let's click on this one. All right. Here we go. So let's look at number 26. Oops. Let's go Control-C, 26. So if we look at number 26, they again give us a point, and that point is 10 and 2. That point is 10 and 2. And they say it's perpendicular. Oops. Perpendicular to y equals, let's see here, y equals 4x plus 6. 4x plus 6. So again, let's draw our graph. And we've got a graph that looks like this. And then let's do another one. We've got a graph that looks like this. And then we also have, let me change colors here real quick. Let's do orange this time. We have an equation, y equals 4x plus 6. It looks like this somewhat in there somewhere. And then we take an equation here. Oops, no, not that one. Let's go and use this color. We take an equation, and we're going to go through 10 and 2. So 10 and 2 is way up here. So we're saying that a perpendicular line looks like that. And that is the one we need to write an equation for. So we need to use y minus y1 equals the slope times x minus x1. So as we work with this, we need to know, make sure that we understand it's perpendicular there. It's 90 degree when it's perpendicular. We have this point up here, and I'm just going to utilize the fact that I wrote it way up here. It's 10 and 2. It's way up here. Here's my point right there. So really, this is my x1, and this is my y1. Here's my slope of line 1. So my line 1 slope is equal to 4. So this slope here, I'll do it this way. Let's go backwards on that one. I'm going to do this slope here. This slope is the negative reciprocal. So what's the reciprocal of 4? It's 1/4. So my slope is negative 1/4. So I'm going to have all the pieces in place. So I'm going to take y, substitute my y1, which is 2. Don't know why this is there. Equals my slope, my new slope, which is right here, is going to be negative 1/4 times x minus 10. Now this one gets a little gooey because I can tell you right now the fractions aren't going to be nice to you. So let's just go ahead and do the steps we did prior to this. Y equals negative 1/4. I'm going to multiply this in right now. Negative 1/4 x plus 20. Oops, why did I get 20? That was dumb. I was doing some stuff in my head. Negative 1/4 plus 10 over 4. That's what I get by multiplying 1/4 times 10. And that's plus because it's negative times a negative. And then I'm going to add the 2 over here. So I'm going to add 2 right here. And I'm going to add 2 to this side. And so I get my extra 2 down here. And don't forget, this came from distributing into there. Okay, so now we've got this piece. Well, I need to combine these two right here. So since this is 10 over 4, I need to convert this into a denominator of 4. So I'm going to multiply the top and the bottom by 4. So what I get is negative 1/4 x minus 10/4 plus 8/4. So don't forget when you convert this to fourths, it's going to be 2 over 1 times a whole number with a denominator of 4. So 2 times 4 is 8. 1 times 4 is 4. So now I can clean this up. I get negative 1/4 x minus 10 plus 4. That should be a 4 right there. Is negative 2 over 4. And that's a y equals. And if you want to, you can convert that to 1/2, or you can leave it as 2/4. It doesn't matter. So this is how you deal with parallel and perpendicular lines. There will be some word problems. Just again, don't forget, follow your lead of the same equation of the point slope form. Good luck.